So, Joe, thank you so much for making time. I think this is the first thing in your morning. I just wanted to handball straight to you, mate, and just get you to explain, who you are, what you do, tell us about your business as well.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on, James. Yeah, so just for anybody who's not familiar with me or at Advance, so I started as a seller on the Amazon space in 2014. I'm a chemical engineer by training, got my MBA and all that good stuff. But I started selling these organic chemistry molecular model kits on Amazon. They're used for organic chemistry courses. So I was reaching out to like different professors and getting these like as recommended course materials and all that good stuff. Was growing up that brand. And as I was reaching out to different agencies at the time, found that what I was doing was either more complex or strategic than what I was hearing out in the market. So that gave me the idea that, maybe I can help out some other sellers. And so that's kind of been the founding of Ad Advance. We focus on sponsored ads, DSP, driving external traffic through Amazon attribution. We've got our own tech and system that we built up on the back end, which lets us do a lot of cool things with the data and see a lot of cool trends that are happening. And so that's just quick snapshot on us.
Interesting, Joe. You never fail to impress me, man. Chemical engineering. That's just insane, dude. So moving on from the stuff I have no idea about.
Yeah.
What obviously we met at Prosper just recently, right? Like, what did you think of it, and what did you take away from that?
Yeah. So Prosper was awesome. And first, it was awesome to meet you in person. That was really fun. Um, Prosper is great. Like I love these conferences for a couple different reasons. And I mean, the first is that we have this awesome Amazon community. It's so fun to see how people come together and, whether it's different agencies that you could call us direct competitors. Like I've got a ton of great friends who work for direct competition. And so it's just, we're in such this awesome growing space that there is so much of a community out there. So that's the first thing that I really enjoy, and just being able to meet people in person that you've seen online so often. The other thing that I really enjoy too is it just gives us a good pulse on where the industry is currently at and where it's going. So you always hear some different trends that are coming up in the different speaker sessions. You can hear first person from different sellers and what's their key pain points as you go. So that's another key reason why I love these conferences, is just connecting with people who are doing this day in and day out. And you can just connect on a different level when you're in person. So overall, got a lot of great takeaways from Prosper. How about you?
Yeah, look, I obviously meeting you is the number one highlight, given that I look up to your to
Yeah,
your your
right.
your content, man. But yeah, I think I'm the same. Like meeting people I know online, and I think yeah, I have a lot of great friends that are competitors as well, and I think it was great to collaborate. And I think collaborating with everyone, yourself included, has just helped grow our business, and I'm assuming others' businesses too. So it was great.
For
But
sure.
into the nitty gritty, Joe. So I know you're a data guy, right? So recently, Amazon has made a whole bunch of more data points available via API, namely the kind of brand analytics or whatever. All that data is now available. Like you can get crazy levels of data points, traffic, and all that kind of stuff. What do you think the implications of this is? Like for yourself or for tools, or what does it mean with so much data now available?
Yeah. I mean, so the first key thing is just choosing what you're actually going to use or take into account. And so there's so many different data points that we can pull in, so many different endpoints now available via API, that whenever we're looking at bringing something in, we have to have an end goal in mind for how we're going to use it. So like brand analytics, this can be a great way to use, say, different product targets that show up in some of their reports, and be able to use these as a starting point for different campaigns that we have. Business reports now including sessions, we can finally get like organic traffic data. Like that's been a key request that we've had for so many years. like now being able to see actual organic or overall conversion rates for your listings and not just ad conversion rates, like that's truly powerful. And we can tie that into like our bidding algorithms. Just the more complex data that we can get, if you can use it effectively, there's going to be some niches that you can really take advantage of. As we know, competition continues to increase on the platform. Last year, we saw cost per click go up about 30 cents on average. This year, as in 2020, we've seen it kind of flatline out, but it'll be interesting to see what Q4 has in store for us. So I think the key implication is, with this increased data, is there ways that we can tie this directly into the strategies that we're going to implement, into the optimizations that we have available? So then we can try to find those, say, those underserved niches where the competition isn't as high, and we can really focus there to increase performance.
Yeah, good. I guess good points you make there. And I think with so much data available, it is important to bring down what's important to whoever it is you are in relation to Amazon. That's a good point. So just on that, like obviously this data has now been released. Different things change with Amazon all the time. What is your top prediction for this year? And I mean, that could be absolutely anything, Joe. I'm keen to kind of hear where your mind's at.
Yeah. I mean, so high level, if we look at the Amazon advertising space and just e-commerce space in general. So we recently went through and just like did a quick scroll, did a quick search, and tried to find all the ads that we saw on Amazon just doing this quick search. So we did an example where we looked at like big dog chew toys. And within 39 seconds, I believe we came across 46 ads. And so on Amazon, they're becoming saturated with the amount of ads that are on the website. And so they're simply not going to be able to add more ads without impacting the customer experience. And so the only way for them to increase advertising revenue or spend is, one, with the increase in cost per click. Two is an increase in overall traffic going to Amazon. But I think the major focus, and we're seeing this in some of the new products that they're releasing, is now off Amazon advertising. And so essentially what you're doing is you're using Amazon's data to define these core audiences who are going to be interested in your products and be able to advertise off of Amazon. So for instance, like if I search for dog chew toys, that's probably a good indication that I or somebody that I know has a dog. And so that could put me into a category that says, all right, potential interest in dogs. And now I could target that category or that market and start showing ads off of Amazon for other dog chew toys or other dog accessories, other dog treats. And you could start seeing these ads show up off of Amazon. So for instance, if you're on weather.com, if you've ever seen an Amazon listing that you just recently looked at, like that's an example of an off Amazon targeting. So I really see a huge focus on increasing off Amazon advertising. They're going to try to release some more products, which makes it easier to implement ads on Amazon. But in terms of like focus going forward, I think they've hit the saturation point on Amazon, and now a key focus will be off Amazon.
Yeah, interesting. And I think that what you say makes total sense. Just for the people out there, well, in Australia, for example, where this off Amazon thing is probably not as well known
Sure.
as perhaps in the US. You mentioned weather.com, but can you give us some more examples of what off Amazon really means, like, from your part of the world?
Yeah, no, great question. So there's two different ways right now that we can target off of Amazon. So the first is through sponsored display advertising. So sponsored display advertising allows us to target both on and off of Amazon. So on Amazon, there's placements like below the buy box or below the bullet points in the product detail page where these ads will show up, but they'll also show up off of Amazon. And so some instances on how this works is you have different websites, different content providers, and they're selling ad space. And so they get hooked into Amazon's third-party network to display their ads. And then based off of bids that come through in an auction in the background, the highest paying ad gets shown on these third-party sites. And so what we can do is through sponsor display or DSP. So if you've ever heard of Amazon DSP, Amazon DSP gives us a ton of tools that allows us to really define these different audiences. So in the dog chew toy example, we want to find people who we think are going to be very interested in buying dog chew toys, say if they went on and didn't purchase. So for DSP, we could say, all right, if somebody searched for dog chew toys, but they didn't purchase X, Y, and Z, let's show them ads. Or if they visited my product detail page, but they didn't purchase from me, let's show them more ads for our dog chew toys to hopefully bring them back to complete their purchase. And so through sponsored display and Amazon DSP, which gives us a lot more controls, we can use that audience data, which is really key. And then we can, with DSP, we can switch up our creatives and how our ads look. And then we can control bids and different strategies, which then show these ads to the most relevant people off of Amazon. And then these content providers, these websites, kind of provide the code which allows these ads to be displayed. They get compensated for those ads being on their website, so they get paid. And hopefully we're targeting the right people who are interested in our products, which sends them back to Amazon to complete the final purchase, and everybody's happy.
Get it. That makes sense. And thank you for explaining that in a way that people without a chemical engineering degree can understand.
For sure.
That all makes sense. So just final thoughts, Joe. And I know you're like an Amazon guy through and through, but how do you personally feel about selling on Walmart, you know, in addition to selling on Amazon? Like, what do you personally think of that?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's a great strategy if you've got the scale for it making sense. And so, you know, with Amazon, it's huge ecosystem, a ton of traffic going to it. Walmart's the second biggest player in that space, but traffic's a lot lower than Amazon. And so if you already have solid sales on Amazon, I think going to Walmart makes a ton of sense. And you just had to weigh the time and the cost benefits to now manage multiple different platforms with multiple different quirks as you go. So I think Walmart's going to keep growing. They're investing quite a bit in their e-commerce channel. They have some advantages over Amazon where they have so many stores scattered throughout the US, and in many locations we can get shipments really quickly from Walmart. And so I think that really focusing on Walmart along with Amazon and also looking at other e-commerce channels definitely makes sense as long as you have the scale and the time to be able to put the time into it that's really needed. If you don't and you just put a listing up there and hope it goes, just like on Amazon, that's not going to work. So the key thing is just making sure that you've got that investment and that volume to make that commitment worthwhile. But I think the platform is going to keep growing, just like Amazon in the early days. I feel like establishing yourself early on is going to be a key thing that helps you for your long-term growth. So yeah, starting as a seller, I totally encourage it. Focusing on multiple channels and being diversified to make sure if one channel goes down, that you've got other alternatives is also a key critical thing to keep in mind as a seller.
Wow, Joe, I honestly did not expect that answer from you. But yes, super pragmatic. But bonus question, which I didn't put in the email, is what does that mean for Ad Advance? Like, you know, for your business, like, do you think that you'll be kind of supporting people with Walmart?
Yeah. So the key thing that's kept us from getting into Walmart right now is getting API access has been tricky process. And so once we can get API access and we can fully connect our software in there, we want to make sure that we've got the tech available before we jump into that channel. And so we want to be great at it when we go into any other channel. That being said, there's a lot of other interesting things that are going on in the space too. Trying to drive external traffic to your Amazon listing is another key thing that we're looking at right now. And so while we may not be supporting Walmart right now, we're starting to support Google and using Amazon attribution to drive other traffic back to Amazon. And so there's a lot of other channels that we're looking to potentially incorporate in as we build out our infrastructure on being able to drive external traffic in. If you look at what the key sellers or the major players are doing in the space, like they've got Amazon advertising nailed. They're starting to use off traffic sources through ads like DSP and sponsored display. And now another key thing is using tools like Amazon attribution to drive traffic from those external channels coming to their listings to help increase sales more, which helps with organic ranking. So that's another key thing that we're focusing on. And honestly, right now, we would probably like increase support for Google over going to Walmart, just to increase that external traffic support that we have. But if Walmart opens up their APIs, we're totally into.
Interesting. Loving the insight, Joe. And look, I know you've got plenty more important things to get on with today with new starters and all that. So thanks for making time. And yeah, looking forward to doing this again and catching you in September in New York.
Yeah, James, it was awesome. Really looking forward to seeing you again in September.